unintended, when I became the alpha male. That's what and about a month into it, I realised that two of the other Wills were Christian Bale and Daniel Day-Lewis. So, it was fun out there. The hardest thing is getting unwolfed, actually. Going to the bathroom, that's a new education, and eating habits are a little bit awkward. And don't put any kidneys in front of me. But apart from that, it's great fun. I mean, in all seriousness, you throw yourself around a little bit. It's not like motion capture. It's not like the sort of full body experience that is. But there are only certain things you can actually make your voice do without moving. So at times I was imagining things hitting me whilst holding onto a plane. Plot spoiler, I don't know. That just takes you arsing about being a bit of a wally and having no inhibitions whatsoever, which I appear to have none of. But no, I did. I enjoyed it. It's great fun. Thank you for the question.
Well, there you are. I'm just saying before we continue that the first 10 people in line are going to receive who are asking questions are receiving a secret skipper thumb drive. Some of the material you've seen today has been loaded onto those thumb drives, and DreamWorks would like you to start pushing it out for them. Perhaps that was just a secret. Forget I said that. Alright, your next question, please.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Jada.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Georgia, but I've lived here in...
Okay, not the whole thing, just now.
My question is for Benedict.
Surprisingly.
Sorry, I can ask you a question.
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, what is the thing that attracted you most to Classified's character, to make you want to bring this character alive?
To work with the Penguins, really. I mean, the whole kind of Bond pastiche that he is, this guy who's got all the professionalism, he's got all the tools, he's got a team, he's got this kind of slick operation, and yet it sometimes only goes skin deep, so he's completely, there's a nice vulnerability to it, and he has to learn to abandon planning and embrace just running at the problem rather like the Penguins do. And I like that idea. I like the idea of unpacking a spy and trying to make them a little bit more human. If that makes any sense when you're playing a wolf. But yeah, it was that really, and also just the pedigree of this studio's work. They make me laugh. They make the kids that I've seen the films with laugh. So I thought I'd try and give it a go myself. And I've never done this kind of work. I've never done a narration for an animation before. I mean, voice for an animation before. So all of that, and this one here, I heard about his casting, and that got me very excited. And the Penguins themselves, I mean, they're just winning characters. So yeah, all those reasons.
We have someone else.
Hi, I'm Madeline Greenblatt. I'm from Texas, and I teach 3rd grade. And all of my kids love all the Madagascar movies, all books and everything, and it influences their lives. And I want to know what characters, books as a child did that for you, and how you bring it to screen for the whole panel.
Let's see, so who began this process? Who began the Penguins of Madagascar, I guess? You were right there at the beginning, right now?
I'd like Benedict to answer this one.
We'll get to him, but what influenced you as a child? That's a fair question. What made you laugh when you were a kid?
Well, I was born in the 60s, so I think,
LSD.
TV.
Oh, right, yeah.
Was the books of the 60s.
Right. So what TV shows did you watch?
Well, I think, Star Trek.
Oh, there's a risky comic on.
I think, there was always these groups. I think, from SWAT to the A-Team, Star Trek. The Penguins are a bit of an amalgam of all these shows. And they took the best of international characters, brought them together into a kind of a underdog group that saw nothing as impossible, and that's really who the Penguins are. And they are just a combination of all these, whether it be Stalag 17 or the Dirty Dozen or Spock and Kirk. It's trying to get the best of all these characters that come together. And what's great about the Penguins, they're these huge personalities in a tiny package, and that's the inspiration.
What about you, John? I imagine you're slightly off the beaten track in the terms of a childhood influence.
I actually have quite eclectic taste, and I liked anything, a huge number of things, but only if they starred Haley Mills.
Never disappoint me, John. Never.
And, I also was a huge fan of Leave It to Beaver. So those were my two big cultural links.
Yeah, no, I can see now. It makes perfect sense. What about you? What kind of lit your torch when you were a kid for entertainment?
The Hobbit actually did, and that was the first book my dad ever read to me. So that was in my head as an imaginary space when I was a kid going to sleep at night. I don't know how healthy that is, but it turned out all right. And yeah, that was a wonderful influence. And spawned my interest in the written word, having the power to create those imaginary worlds. Beyond that, television-wise, I did all sorts of things. I mean, I was a kid of the 80s, so, you know, the 80s, Werewolf, Manimal, all those kind of, Knight Rider, and then Gentle Ben, too, because I shared the name. Egotist at a young age. It was, yeah, so a fair old mixture, but yes, I grew up with two actors, so stories abounded, probably adult stories I shouldn't have been hearing at the age I heard them, but also, you know, they were very good at creating worlds and characters.
Right, yeah.
Imagine them.
Very nice, yes, thank you very much. What a lovely question. Thank you, lady from Texas. Next lady. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Marissa. Firstly, I want to say hi, Craig.
Hi.
My dad and I watch your show every night. Totally love you. And then, okay, I'm going to try not to cry. Benedict.
Yes, I'll try not to cry too.
We'll all try together.
So I'm studying media in London right now, and my question was, you know, you said you're new to voice acting, and I was wondering what new techniques you needed to bring to the table versus like stage or screen acting.
I mean, I've done a bit of radio, so that's probably the most helpful medium to cabin pressure. And the book reads, and that's very hard. Actually, the hardest thing, the most useful thing, is to do an adaptation of a book, because you are the book, you're the narrative voice, but you're also all the individual characterizations. So that, you really do get that ego trip of playing all the parts. And with that, you have to imagine a lot of the scenarios, and this is a great team of writers and directors and artists who can lead you through step by step to give you a very firm idea of how to contextualize any moment, but you still have to take a little leap yourself to get there. But it's not like doing a book read. That's the hardest thing I'd say I have ever done vocally. So with their help, their scripts and their genius, it's kind of a walk in the park, and you just get to end up, improvisation is very important. So being able to be free with an idea, push an idea, go too far, come back, do the full circle thing you do in rehearsals, you know, good idea at the beginning, awful ideas for the rest of it, coming back to the same good idea, or right idea. That process is really important, not to be frightened of experimenting. Where are you studying media?
St. Mary's University in Twickenham.
Oh, nice part of the world, yeah, very good. How's it going?
Really, really good.
Really good? Well, the Sherlock studios aren't far from there. Did you know? Oh, no, it's nice to Sherlock, sorry.
That's it, Cumberbatch cancelled, that's it. Did you do any work with other actors, either one of you, or did you all?
No, which, I mean, I was really gutted about that, because I was really looking forward to working with the Penguins and John, and my team. I've not met a single one of my team, so it's really bizarre. And that's almost the hardest thing. You don't have the usual camaraderie which you do in most other mediums, but I didn't really for Smaug either, because I was in a room, I was doing motion capture, and Martin was in England and would have been the size of a fleck of dust on a carpet if he had been there. It would have been pretty difficult to imagine him as that. And so I had a great actor reading off lines, like I did every single session. with recording this. Yeah, you don't build that chemistry, you don't
Right,
build that thing, and then you're not,
yeah.
So improvising against brilliant writers in the studio somewhere, listening and watching, and these are my two first audience, all of our first audience, and if you make them laugh,
right,
you know you're somewhere in the right ballpark, and then you just keep on going.
Do you ever feel slightly intimidated that when you're improvising, because of the fact that these guys have written the script and they really want you to say their words, but you really want to say other words, which you think may possibly be better? Oh,
no.
Hit a nerve, gentlemen?
No, that's not fair. I always read their lines first.
No, of course, but I think that, you know, I feel that because I've done the same type of thing, and when you work with people who have written the script, I sometimes feel a little awkward about, you know, futzing with it when, you know, they've been doing it. When it's just a director who didn't write it, I'm like, what the hell, let's have a go at this, you know, and...
Yeah, I think in theatre, originating in theatre, the text is paramount.
You have to understand.
So I'm always very respectful of that, and then I will go into John. What do you think?
Well, also growing up in the theatre, you really didn't touch a text, and I didn't start doing it at all in movies, meaning making any changes to the text, until finally I realized at a certain point in time, when I was asked to do a project, I would say, yes, that's very nice, but, and it's a very nice structure, and it's a fantastic idea, and none of the characters in any way exhibit any kind of human behavior or dialogue that's at all recognizable. Is there any plan afoot to change that fact on the ground? And they would always say, we're doing it.
You magnificent bastard!
And then eventually I just started doing it myself. But with this one, it's quite complicated because they're actually very happy for any